Uncle, stop. Uncle, please stop. It's paining me, uncle. Please stop. You're hurting me. Wetin dey happen for herself? She thought to herself. She tiptoed quietly towards the door and opened it just a little bit. She peeped inside the room, and what she saw took her breath away. It was a busy day in December. Esther was running around, trying to pack everything needed for the trip to the village. It was that time of the year when all the children and grandchildren in the family came together to celebrate the festivities. But that year, the celebration promised to be even bigger, as Chief Okoro, the patron of the family, was turning 90 years old. Esther packed her bags with excitement and joy, dressed her two children, Princess and Dossier, and they set out for the journey to the village. When they arrived at the village mansion, the house was filled with relatives and friends. They had all come from different walks of life to celebrate both Christmas and Grandpa's birthday party. Esther was glad to reconnect with her cousins and other family members, some of whom she had not seen in years. She was particularly happy to see her favorite cousin, Obina. They hadn't seen each other for years because he had relocated abroad. "Obina, my guy, you just abandoned your big sis, no be so," Esther said teasingly. "Sis, no be so. Adulting is not for the weak," Obina replied, and they talked about life and business. "When are you bringing a girl home for me to see, Obina?" "You're not getting any younger," Esther said. "Sis, I know, but I'm not ready for marriage now. My last relationship messed me up big time, but thank God it ended. A broken relationship is better than a broken home," Obina replied. Esther sympathized with her favorite cousin over his recent heartbreak. She introduced her two children to Obina. "Princess and Dossier, say hello to Uncle Obina. He's my favorite cousin. We grew up together until he abandoned me and ran abroad," Esther said jokingly. Obina greeted the children. He carried Princess on his lap, showering her with praises and gifts, with a mischievous glint in his eyes. Esther was smiling, unaware that calamity was brewing on the horizon. Over the next couple of days, Obina was always around Princess, buying her sweets and treats, but he ignored Dossier. Dossier ran to his mother, Esther, one afternoon. "Uncle Obina does not love me. He doesn't buy me sweets. He buys sweets only for Princess," Dossier said, crying. "Dossier, are you a baby? How many times have I warned you not to be jealous of other people? Princess is your younger sister. What is wrong with her getting more gifts from your uncle?" Esther scolded her son and later consoled him, promising to get him sweets. The next day was Grandpa's birthday party, and Esther threw herself into organizing the party. As the first granddaughter, she was in charge of the cooking and other chores in the mansion. The birthday celebration was in full swing. Villagers, friends, and well-wishers all came to celebrate with Chief Okoro. Later that day, the celebration was moved to the village square, as Chief Okoro was a prominent person in the community. All the adults left the mansion, leaving the children with the house help. The celebration at the village square accelerated into full gear as more guests trooped in. After a while, Obina sneaked out of the party unnoticed and went straight to the mansion. When he got to the house, he met Grace, the house help, playing with the children in the living room. "Uncle Obi, welcome!" The children greeted Obina excitedly. "Welcome!" Grace greeted too. "Thank you. You are doing a great job with these children," he said, smiling sweetly. "Thank you," Grace replied. Obina scanned the living room until his eyes fell on his target, his sweet little princess, young and innocent. Like a hawk, all he thought about was how to get the perfect opportunity to be with her. Obina lied to Grace that he had a serious stomach ache, and that was why he had to come back early. A few minutes later, Obina called Grace into his room. "Take this 2,000 naira. Go and buy me medicine. You can keep the change," Obina said. "But I can't leave these children alone like that. I don't want to. You know how children behave," Grace said with worry on her face. "Don't worry, I will watch them while you are gone," Obina replied. With that, the house help left the house to buy medicine for Obina, leaving the children at home with him. Obina came downstairs to the living room where Princess and the other children were seated, playing and watching TV. He shared sweets and chocolates with them and told them to continue playing until he came back. Obina quietly called Princess into his room. "Princess, bring water for me in my room," he said as he went back to his room. Princess went into the lion's den as a little lamb ready to be eaten for supper. Princess entered Obina's room with a bottle of water. "Uncle Obina, see the water you asked me to bring for you," she said as she innocently approached him with a smile on her face. Obina took the bottle of water from her and invited Princess to sit on his lap. "My princess, you know you are my angel and I love you. Of all the children in this house, you are my favorite. That is why I buy you sweets and chocolates all the time." "I love you too, Uncle Obina," Princess said, not knowing the gravity of what was happening. Obina's hand started to wander to forbidden places. Princess, who didn't know what was going on at first, asked with curiosity, "Uncle Obina, what are you doing?" "My mommy said I should not allow anybody to touch me here." "My princess, your mother is wrong. I'm trying to make you a real woman. You see, there is a demon inside you. I need to remove it for you. If not, you'll die and go to hell. But after I remove the demon inside you, you must promise not to tell anybody, including your mother. If you tell your mother or anybody, the demon will come and attack the person, kill the person, and that person will go to hell. Do you want your mommy and your daddy to go to hell?" Obina asked. "No, Uncle Obina," Princess answered with fear on her face. Obina's unholy touches and caresses turned into something more sinister, and the pain was getting too much for the little girl to bear. "Uncle Obina, stop! It's paining me," she cried out. But Obina was too high in his head to listen. He pressed the palm of his hand firmly on Princess's mouth, muffling her wails. He pinned her little frame onto his bed and forced himself on her until he had his fill. Princess cried out in pain, but Obina hushed her. He threatened that if she didn't stop crying, the demon, which he had just removed from her body, would attack her and her parents and take them all to hell. Princess swallowed her cries, fearing that the demon would come after her and her parents if she didn't stop crying. Obina brought out a pill shortly afterward and handed it to Princess to swallow. "Take this pill, my princess. It will help you remove the remaining demon inside you." Princess took the pill and swallowed it out of fear. That evening, Princess lay on her bed in her room. She was in pain, but she didn't dare cry out or tell anybody what was happening to her because she didn't want the demon Obina told her about to come after them. Esther came back and noticed her daughter's strange behavior. "What is wrong with you, my princess? Are you sick?" she asked. "No, Mommy, I'm fine. My stomach hurts," she lied. "Sorry, my princess," Esther said. "Maybe you had too much sweets and chocolates Uncle Obina gave you. Just relax. Maybe by morning you will feel better." With that, she went downstairs to chat with the rest of the family. For the next couple of days, Obina took every chance he got and forced himself on Princess. He would always give her pills after he was done. Princess who was once a sharp girl, full of life, became dull and moody and liked to keep to herself. Her mother noticed, and whenever she asked what the problem was, Princess would always claim she was fine. One afternoon, when all the adults were out of the house, Obina sent Grace, the house help, on an errand again and asked Princess to bring water to his room as usual. Princess, who was scared of what she would endure at his hands, started to shake in panic. She reluctantly took the bottle of water to Obina's bedroom, where he forced himself on her yet again. But something happened that day. Grace returned earlier than expected. When she got home, all the children were playing and watching TV downstairs except for Princess. She didn't think anything of it. As Princess had been behaving strangely lately, she thought that maybe Princess was sleeping in her room. Grace went upstairs to deliver the item Obina had sent her for. As she approached Obina's bedroom, she started hearing strange noises coming from his bedroom. What could that be? She thought to herself. Grace walked closer towards the door, and she was shocked to hear Princess's voice begging Obina to stop. "Uncle, stop! Uncle, please, stop! It's paining me, Uncle. Please stop. You're hurting me." Waiting they happen for here, she thought to herself. She tiptoed quietly towards the door and opened it just a little bit. She peeped inside the room, and what she saw took her breath away. Obina was forcing himself on his little cousin. Grace took out her phone and recorded the gruesome scene. She knew she needed concrete evidence to expose Obina, but if she didn't record it, no one would believe her over Obina. After all, she was just a housemaid. That evening, Grace went into Esther's room to report her findings about Obina and his wickedness. But she was met with a shout. "Shut up, your dirty mouth! How dare you accuse my cousin of forcing himself on my daughter? Who do you think you are, a common house help? You have the boldness to point fingers. My cousin can never do something like this, and my daughter would have told me if something like this had happened," Esther said, shouting and raining insults on Grace. "Ma, I need you to believe me. I saw it with my own two eyes. I have evidence," Grace said. Grace received a hot slap from Esther before she could even complete her next statement. "You dirty thing, you are leaving this house today," Esther yelled. The commotion in Esther's bedroom attracted other people in the house, including Esther's husband. They came into the room and asked what the problem was. "Can you imagine this useless girl? She said Obina is forcing himself on my daughter, Princess, that she saw it with her two eyes. As if I don't know her schemes, that she's trying to seduce Obina. How dare you, you smelly thing! You must leave this house today," Esther said. Esther's aunt backed her up, and together they dragged Grace out of the room into the living room where Chief Okoro was seated. He was meant to kneel down, and belongings were thrown at her as they threatened to drive her out of the house. Chief Okoro stopped his family members from making any rash decisions without hearing from Grace. She had been working for him for years now, and he knew she was not a liar. "You have been working for me for years now, and I know you are a good girl. Can you explain to me what is happening?" Chief Okoro asked. Grace explained everything she saw to Chief Okoro and showed him the video evidence she had recorded at the scene. Chief Okoro was shocked to see the video. "What abomination!" he exclaimed loudly. Fear gripped everybody in the living room. Grace showed Esther and her husband the video evidence, and they broke down in anguish. Esther was especially shocked to her bones. How could her cousin, her family member, her blood, do something this evil to her innocent daughter? Her whole world came crumbling before her eyes. Esther and her husband went into Princess's room where they asked her questions about how Uncle Obina had been touching her inappropriately. But Princess denied it. She lied because she was afraid that the demon would come after her parents. After hours of investigation and interrogation, Princess eventually broke down in tears. "Mom, he touched me here," she said, pointing to her crotch. "It was painful. I told him to stop, but he refused. He said there is a demon inside my body that he wants to remove for me, and that I should not tell anybody." Princess revealed how Obina threatened her, that her parents would be attacked by a demon and go to hell if she told anybody about his atrocious act. Esther broke down in pain. If only she had paid more attention to her children. She was so overwhelmed with the festivity and celebration that she neglected the most important people in her life, her children. She regretted trusting Obina so much with her children. She regretted not educating her children rightly and early about their body parts. She cried bitterly for her daughter's future and sanity. Obina was arrested and thrown into jail while Esther returned home with her family to begin their healing process. The moral of this story is that you can never be too trusting of that uncle, auntie, sister, or brother with your children. Always pay attention to them and listen to them, even when they are not talking. Teach them about their body parts and other things that would enable them not to fall victim to predators. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, NaijaTrends TV. Please leave a like and a comment, and until we bring another story your way again,